Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing well and fit and fine. So, in today's Informatica tutorial, we are going to cover the SQL transformation in script mode. In the last tutorial, we have covered the SQL transformation in the query mode. We have also covered the interview questions and some introduction of script mode. Okay. So in today's session, we'll cover what is script mode, when it is used, in which scenario, what are the SQL statements being supported. We'll take one example where we'll use all DML and DDL statements, and we'll actually see how it gets executed and how we can create a mapping out of it. Okay. So as we already discussed in the previous video, we have seen a query mode where we actually pass a query. Okay, in the mapping itself. Just for the recap, I'll show you that. In the previous video, we have written a query over here, okay, in the SQL ports. You can go back to my previous video and see how we have implemented this mapping, okay? But there are some scenarios where you will have to run different statements, okay? And basically you pass the statements through an indirect file. And once that file get executed, so that file will consist of a number of SQL statements like DDL and DML statement. So it will get executed and you will see the result in the database directly. Okay. So script mode, it will generate the two output ports, basically. The result port and error port. If there is some error, it will generate that, okay? Result and error. So if result is passed, it means your query is executed successfully. Otherwise, it will throw an error. You'll be able to see the exact error in the session log as well. Okay. So the primary difference between script mode and query mode, as I have shown you, you can write a query in the query mode inside the mapping itself. But in the script mode, you have to pass that query through a text file. Okay. Basically, that text file is going to be path for your actual script. So you'll be writing your script in some other file, and path of that file will be passing in the session level source files. Okay, we'll see that how to actually pass it. It supports different SQL statements like insert, update, delete. Those are called DML statement, create, alter, drop, detailed statement, and other statements as well. So whatever SQL query you write in that file, it will get executed. Okay. So we'll create a mapping as usual with a sample use case, how to use SQL transformation in script mode. And in the last video, I've covered already some questions. Okay, if there are any for specific with the script mode, we'll cover in the session itself. Okay, so let's go on to the hands-on. So as usual, let's create a mapping. Okay, go to mapping tabs, create SQL. Node person. Okay, I have created one table, person table actually for this practice. I'll show you the exact script which we will be going to run. So this is the script. Okay, so we have drop table person. The table is already created. So initially it will drop. It will recreate that table. We'll create one index on the person table with first name and last name columns. We'll alter that table to add a unique constraint on first name, last name, and hire date. And then we will insert few values into the table. So all of these things are going through one script. Okay, so you can basically create a script in this way. This way you can create a script. Make sure you are ending every statement with the semicolons. And then you can pass it here. So whatever path you will be passing here, so it will take as a input. Okay. So let's go to the mapping first. We have to import that source definition first. Okay. You go to sources, import from file. Okay. Just click on next, next, finish. You can create any dummy port as well, okay, for this particular, because it is expecting one string basically. The string is going to be path for your file, okay. Since we already had that file created, so we import it from the source file directory. Then go to the transformation, then create SQL transform, SQL underscore person, we can say. Okay. So this time we are going to run it in the script mode. So when it's query mode, this option is there. You can run it in a passive mode, but script mode runs in an active mode only. Okay. DB type is again Oracle, and we are using a static connection. Click on OK here. Fine. Connect this field one port to the script name. It is connected. Go to the SQL ports. SQL setting, check. So we are running it in a normal mode only. SQL settings, there are options like database type is Oracle, and the SQL mode is script mode. Okay. You can also bind a parameter here. It is not required actually, but you can just bind a parameter with the script name, then apply an OK. Create a target, person underscore SQL outputs. Go to the target designer, bring it in the canvas because we are going to change it to the flat file. Okay. This file will only contain whether it has been passed or failed, or is there any error. Then connect these two ports. Go to the mappings, validate. Let us arrange it. Okay, so this is how the mapping will look like once you arrange it. Iconic, and this is how it will look like once you arrange it in all mode. So now next step is, like, since our mapping is valid, go to the developer, workflow manager, go to the workflows, create workflow underscore SQL underscore load person. We can give us some name, load person. Click on OK. Now we have to design a task or session, you can see. Go to the task, create underscore SQL load person. It will ask for the mapping. Okay. This mapping, it is showing invalid. Okay, let us check what has happened there. Okay, I just saved the mapping, load person. Open the session, go to the mappings tab. Check the source path. Okay, so SQL script mode static.txt is located in info path, info in. Just rename this because this is going to take a system default. We have to rename that. Same is for the output directory. Okay. So output file we are storing in this one. Okay, just rename it. Apply. Go to the SQL person, and here we have to select a relational collection, which where exactly we are going to create or do operations on that table. Okay, then click on apply. Okay, so our session is ready to be used. Load SQL person, link it with the start task. Go to workflows, validate. Workflow is valid. Okay, so ideally what it should do now, it should drop the table which is already created. It will create it again. It will create an index. It will alter the unique constraint, and then we'll see some values over here. Okay. I'll just change something here so that we'll have better understanding. ABC X, XYZ X, PQR X. Okay. Since there are already values present, save this file. Go to the workflow manager. Okay. Right click as usual and then start workflow. Workflow name is workflow SQL load person. Go to the monitor. Workflow is succeeded. It has read one row because it is just a script name. Okay. And it has written one row, which is nothing but our output. Okay. Let's go to the output file first. Refresh. Open it. Okay. So our SQL is passed. Now let's check the output in the table also. If I do select star from person, I should get the values which we have passed. Okay, from this file. ABCX, XYZX, and PQRX. Okay, so this is how we can build a SQL transformation in a script mode. I hope you understood this part of mapping creation. Okay, let's go back to our Excel. So interview questions, basically they'll ask, okay, how many ports are being written from the script mode? So there are two ports, result and error. So they'll ask what status it will show. So it will show pass or fail. If your SQL statement is fail, it will show the result as fail in the output file, as I've shown you already. Then the difference between query mode and script mode, that is another interview question. And since this is an advanced transformation, and script mode is not widely being used, but in some projects, based on the requirement, you might have to use that, like creating some temporary table, dropping them back. Okay, because these operations you can carry out in a single SQL file itself. Fine. So I hope this is it for the session. Please subscribe my channel so that I can post more videos, share it among your friends who are preparing for interview or learning Informatica to become an Informatica Power Center developer. Okay. Bye bye. Take care. Happy learning.